Welcome to Lesson 5.6 of your Dynamic Small Business Search course. Congratulations, you made it through the Capabilities Narrative module. I know it was a lot of work, and I'm okay telling you this now that it's the hardest one. I didn't want to tell you in the beginning because I didn't want to discourage you, but now that you've made it through, I will tell you that's the hardest one for me, and I'm assuming it's the hardest one for a lot of us, is to write really compelling, concise narratives. I'm really experienced at this, and it was a ton of work for me. But it's also one of the most important things we can do as a business, documenting a clear narrative about what we do. Now, don't move on to the next module until you've completed this work. Some of you might have kind of moved forward a little bit, back and forth, and that's kind of okay. But you need to have a capability narrative in your DSBS checklist so we can update your DSBS and SAM profile. When this video finishes, if you haven't completed all of the lesson tasks, including the NAICS, the keywords, the capability narrative here, stop and do that before moving on. I'll wait for you. Let's go ahead and review a bit about the process for creating your capability narrative so that you can just remember what we walked through. First thing I begin with is the high-level keywords. That's where I put mine in for training, scanning, and records management. This gives me a stepping-off point to creating content in my capability narrative. That content begins with an opening sentence. You saw some examples, so feel free to piggyback right off of those examples. But you want to create an opening sentence that basically is introducing your company. And then you write a mini paragraph for each one of those high-level keywords or core competencies, right? I have a core competency in training, a core competency in records management and scanning as it relates to records management. And so I want to write mini paragraphs for each one of those keywords. Doesn't matter what you write, just take a stab at it. I would say spend 5 to 10 minutes max on each one of them, because you're going to move forward to the next one, which is reviewing your competitors' narratives inside of DSBS, perhaps even looking online if you know where some of your competitors are out there and seeing how they market themselves. But learn from them. We certainly never want to steal from them, but we can learn from people all the time. That's how people become great writers, is they read a lot. And so for us, we want to see how people communicate what we do. I might be really good at scanning, but I might not be as good at communicating what scanning is or how that helps our customers, right? So go ahead and learn from your competitors and take a stab at a second draft of your mini paragraphs and your opening sentence. So you have these 3 or 4 paragraphs, maybe even 5 paragraphs in there, and you're writing a second draft based on your competitor stuff. From that, you should have a lot more content because you don't want to constrict yourself. You're moving in now to creating the final version of your capabilities narrative. And inside of there is when you look at what you wrote originally, what you have from your competitor analysis, and there you just want to tighten it up. You want to maintain the 1,000-character limit, and don't worry, you can do it within inside of the DSBS checklist, and it gives you warnings about when you're getting bigger than 1,000 characters. But you want to put it in there and write your final version, which is so much easier in this sense than the first time you wrote a paragraph, because now you just need to edit it down. You're trying to get it down to 1,000 characters instead of up to 1,000 characters, right? That's easier to come down. And you just want to look and go, you know, could this be pushed to the special equipment material field or even keywords perhaps? Or is it really necessary? You want stuff in there that if you were talking at a cocktail party, you know, for those of us who go to cocktail parties anymore, if you were there and you were talking to somebody who's not in government contracting and they said, what do you do? That capability narrative needs to be so easy to understand that basically any intelligent person could understand. And that means the contracting officers and the small business specialists who aren't specialists in your area. For example, I'm in IT and you might be in facility cleaning. They're not going to be experts in each one of those. So you need to be able to communicate that message at a good, clear level. And you just follow the lessons that we laid out in this module and you'll do good there. So I already mentioned the special equipments. Make sure you use that field if you have anything extra, and that'll be good for you to use that extra space. It's a full text indexed, and that means when they search in DSBS, they'll see whatever you put in special equipment materials field as well. Okay, I'm really proud of you for going through all these activities. Doing this is going to put you ahead of 80% of your competitors in the buyer's eyes. Remember what I said about finishing up your DSBS checklist? Get that done, and then meet me in the last module. That's where I'm going to guide you through the process of actually updating your SAM and DSBS profile. I'll see you at the next module.